This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we will call this Board of Directors meeting to order at 7:06 p.m. This board has written and supports the land acknowledgement and anti-racism statement. Both are posted on the board's website. If you would like to read them. Roll call tonight. Keith is an excused absence, and Sam may or may not be able to be here. He was not quite sure, and Kanu is working to join us, but is a little bit late. All right, moving to adopt the agenda. I think there was an amendment that needed to be made.
So I don't know if I make a motion. I need to move the bylaw amendments over out of the consent agenda into the item 7C as a regular agenda item.
Second.
And then we also have to add 7D for approval of executing a contract for the whole 8 bridge as well.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes. So moving on to announcements. Do we have any announcements? I think I can start at this point. Like to introduce the community to Rich Johnson. He's joining us for our first board meeting here. He is our new operations manager and deputy general manager.
Welcome, Rich.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to fill the position, and just looking forward to making things better. Just slowly improving and refining processes, making sure that meeting agendas and minutes and addendums get on the board on time, and that we start tracking what we need to be tracking and facilitating the flow of communication between the board and the residents to the board.
I'd also like to add that Rich comes to us with a very rich history in organizational leadership, and that he was collaboratively selected by the management team and the board. And so he was overwhelmingly selected by both. And so I would like to add that he was selected in a collaborative process. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I would just like to add a couple of things about Rich as well. I've got you all here. So Rich comes to us as Kim said, he has a rich background. He was a 22-year Navy vet, and in the Navy, he was with the Seabees, which is their construction unit. Plus, he was also with the Naval Engineering Command. And, as everyone saw on his resume, he had experience really doing community building, which is what he'll be doing here, as well as project management. And so he said his favorite tour was in Rota, Spain, which that sounds good to me when we got weather like this here. But we're really glad to have him here. He comes to us, he was born and raised in Riverside, California, but he's wanted to be in the Northwest a long time. So never let it said that Sudden Valley does not enable dreams to come true. And he's also making my dream come true, and that now I've got, he's a very key element of the management team that we've now got in place. And he's jumping right in, picking up a lot of things and lending a hand all over the place, as well as just, people are getting to know him and he's getting to know everybody. And he's not shy, which I appreciate. He's a friendly guy and really about getting things done, which is a great attitude to have. And really glad to have you here, Rich. So thanks for joining our team.
Thanks, Dan.
Right. Any other announcements?
I have a quick announcement. There has been a slight increase in car prowls over the last few weeks in certain areas. And additionally, over the last 2 months, we're seeing a slow increase of fuel thefts, which there was a little blurb in the views about that and regarding what you need to do, which is like, make sure you get, if you can, get a locking gas cap, park indoors if possible, but if not, then park towards the road, put your gas tank towards the road, try to stay in the lighted areas. But one thing that's really important is if someone does attempt to break into your car, you've seen damage, call the Whatcom County Sheriff's Department. You need to make a report. It's very important that they are keeping track of that for our community. Then call our security. Our security are just security guards. They observe and report. They're not there to protect you, the same as the sheriff's deputies are. So always dial 911 if you're not feeling safe. It's an emergency, but dial their non-emergency number if you've had a break-in so that they can track that. That'll help us to get more patrols out here. And then report it to our security so we can keep an eye. Thank you.
All right, any other announcements? All right, hearing none, we will move to the consent agenda. We have 7 sets of minutes to approve. Are there any objections to the consent agenda?
Sonia, I think you caught that one mistake that was on there. I think you had it already corrected, so that's probably fine.
All right, hearing none, those will be approved by acclamation then, and we will get them printed, signed, and posted to the website. All right, we'll move to property owner comments.
Yeah, 11 people with us tonight and already have a hand raised. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Kevin on over here. Kevin, I've added you to the meeting. You can unmute when you're ready.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, great. Well, I'll start with sharing some good news. Good for me anyway. I now have a permanent physical presence in Sudden Valley after about a year-long move. So, yeah. I was undeterred by your record-setting heat dome, your biblical flooding, and unprecedented cold spells. So I've completed my glacially paced move. See, how do I put this? I know that although few in number, the chorus of your detractors is loud. So I just wanted to provide some balance. I want to start with a big thank you to all the board members and committee members for your untold hours that you've given this community. I assure you that your volunteerism is appreciated. I also want to commend the board for a job well done this last year. You know, I recognize you've had to deal with a lot of unforeseen issues, including problems created by nature, problems created by previous boards, and of course, the never-ending manufactured crisis from members. So, you know, again, thank you. And I want to highlight specifically your decision regarding the transfer tax rescission or transfer fee. So I thought that was particularly brave and righteous. So please keep us apprised of the refund status. I also think that the board and the GM are doing a good job of filling vacant positions. So I can't comment on the pace, but certainly the caliber of people chosen so far seems encouraging based on my limited interactions. So everybody I've encountered seems very professional, responsive, and congenial. So that includes the rec center staff, the Parks and Rec team, Mike Brook from maintenance, Dan Pike, I'm sure, Rich, I'm sure you're of the same ilk. But, and in fact, I want to tell you, I called Dan a few days ago, just before closing, regarding a needed policy change, which he was receptive to, by the way. And we continued to talk for like 30 minutes about some major issues that, if not addressed, will have a disproportionate long-term negative impact on our community. And I'm not going to elaborate on that because it's not really board meeting comment fare. But, it's nice to know that our ideologies align, Dan. It was nice to talk to you and meet you, or talk to you on the phone anyway. And not to leave anybody out, I had a brief chance encounter with Kim today, which was nice. Oh, and I've exchanged emails with Nancy, who provided some key insights on an issue that is very dear to me. So thank you, Nancy. So my encounters have been very positive since I've been here. So thank you. Keep up the good work. And now that I've heaped that praise on you, I'm going to end with an admonishment. Please put more forethought into the BOD, the board meeting agendas, right? It's happened to me at least 3 times now where the board will start a meeting and then immediately call an audible and shove the initial comment period down below a closed session. People don't want to wait 3 hours to comment. It's very infuriating. It's also disrespectful, and it sends the wrong message to the community. And besides, it behooves you not to do it because it just provides fodder for your detractors. So stop doing it. Just stop. Seriously, please stop. I felt pretty good. I think I'll just end my comment there.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Welcome.
Yeah, and I know I'm going to say this, AJ's probably going to say it too, but just to let you know, sometimes in those closed sessions, we have paid advisors that are in there waiting. And that's what is the cause of that, because it cost us money as we, when we leave them waiting, and we schedule them for a certain period of time. So the last meeting we had the attorney in there. And so that's one of the reasons why we did that. So,
Yeah.
but thanks for that. And then the other thing I just want to let you know is on the next regular board meeting, we'll address the transfer fee.
Okay, good. I mean, it's always a lawyer. So my advice would be, don't pay the attorney to wait. You know how the meeting's going to go down. Have him come in, after the comment period, or.
Yeah, it was a scheduling thing with him. He only had so much time. So yeah. Okay,
but it's happened like 3 times, and also one meeting you recently just canceled without any explanation. So I thought that was a little bit disrespectful too. You could have just said, "Here's why we canceled last week," or something. It just doesn't send the right message to the community that wants to be heard.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kevin, and welcome to Sudden Valley. We're glad you got settled in.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. I'll go ahead and return you to the attendees here.
Okay.
And if anybody else would like to jump in at this point, just use raise hand in Zoom. You should be able to find it down at the bottom of your screen. Oh, we've got Linda with her hand raised. All right, Linda, I've gone ahead and brought you over. You can unmute when you're ready.
Okay, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, I have a question for 2 people, Lenora and Josh. There was on page 8 of the last views, there was a note on the bottom of the page about submitting letters or commentaries. And apparently this has been the submission length says 300 words, and that they would be edited for clarity, syntax, and grammar. Normally, I'd like to know, and I guess I don't know if I need to ask this of the editor. Normally, clarity, that's left up to whoever it is. That isn't left up to the editor. And on the other page where we talk about submissions, on page 4, it says that the letters are up to 550 words. And it's just, I don't know who's changing this. Could we get some clarity on that for those of us that might be sending in letters or submittals?
Hi, Linda. So I do a lot of the editing for not necessarily letters for the views, but I do a lot of editing of like letters to the editor for like the Linden Tribune and the Ferndale Record. And while it does say like for clarity, we don't usually change what people say. It's mostly we try to print everything in AP style, which is very tiny little things that need to be changed, which can be some simple as changing a numeral into a number. So that's one area, which I know it could seem like, oh, are they going to change what I'm talking about in my letter? And no, we're not going to change what you're talking about in your letter. We're just going to do some slight editing. Regarding the word count, though, that's something I would ask Bill, my editor, because it seems like, yeah, there might be something needs to be changed where if it's 300 words or 500 words, but I think that addressed all your questions you had for the most part.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, there was no attribution as to who put the statement in on page 8. And we certainly can get a hold of the editor, but I didn't know if you knew enough about it or stuff. Because it's real confusing to start for the most of the year. It's been 550 and all of a sudden the statement comes in that we're going to be now down to 300.
Yeah, I'll bring that up to my boss, Bill, because that sounds like something that he would address, because I obviously want everything to be, the same and non-confusing for readers. But yeah, that just sounds like a simple mistake. That something just needs to be changed so we have the consistent like word count for the letters to the editor. But yeah, and for editing letters to the editor, it's just basically, pretty much changing spelling mistakes and stuff. So people's voices are definitely heard in all that section. We don't really change a whole lot. So
right. Thank you very much.
No concerns about that.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thanks, Linda. I'll go ahead and return you to the attendees at this time. And anybody else, go ahead and use raise hand in Zoom down at the bottom of your screen. Or if you tap the menu button on your mobile app, you should see an option for raise hand. You hit that and we'll see that you'd like to come over and speak.
All right. Looking like nobody else.
Actually, we've got Teresa.
Okay.
Teresa's got her hand up here. Go ahead and bring you on over here, Teresa. Go ahead and unmute when you'd like.
Hi, I just would like to address this to Dan if possible. And I was wondering when you thought you would have the community fully staffed.
Well, we're getting close. It's going to be an ongoing. It sort of depends on how you define fully staffed. For example, we want to add a couple more full-time year-round folks. A few folks in maintenance and another couple of folks here and there throughout the rest of the organization. But then there's also seasonal staff that are coming on. They're already starting to come on, and that will be here throughout the spring and summer, and then leave us in the fall. And so I'd say in both of those situations that we'll have most of the hiring done in the next 6 weeks to 2 months. It really depends. It's kind of an interesting job market right now in terms of what responses we get when we put out job descriptions and recruitment emails or recruitment postings. So, I do expect that certainly within the next 2 months we should pretty much have everybody permanent, I think, on board or in the pipeline where we've identified them and just haven't maybe finished all the processes to onboard somebody.
I appreciate that for the community's sake. I also want to know, you said in your last week's meeting, the community was one of your goals, having a good community. I'm interested in like some tangible dates for like the playground, the barn, the dock, the sauna, the community center, as also being as something that you're really focused on as well.
So, there's a lot of things in play. I can tell you that one of the saunas is now working. So there's one you can check off. The other one's a fairly major repair effort. So I don't know if we'll be able to repair it. It's going to be pretty expensive, but one of the two saunas in the gym is working. The barn, there's a lot of things we have to look at there to determine what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And a lot of those decisions haven't necessarily been made by the board yet. But let's see, I'm trying to think of all the things that you listed.
It was more just like, I know you were talking about having a community and a sense of community. I'm just asking about also like the tangible items, like when can we?
So it sort of depends on the item. So for example, I can't give you a firm date on the dock because part of the problem with the dock is that it was put in illegally by a past.
So Dan, we're going to be discussing that later.
Yeah.
Today,
okay,
tonight.
Yeah, true. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, some of that stuff that I can't discuss because it's actually there's litigation involved, and so I really can't talk about some of these things. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. I love the idea of community, but I really like the tangible aspects of my dues.
Right, and we are, I can tell you the board's very committed to getting things, to getting repairs made, to getting assets working again for the community members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Teresa. And moved you back to the attendees. We do have Chelsea with her hand raised. I'll go ahead and bring you on over here, Chelsea, and you can unmute when you're ready.
Hi, thanks so much for letting me have a chance to speak. One of my really big concerns out here is our fire readiness. And in the past, years ago, we used to have an event where pickups would actually be scheduled of branches out in front of individuals' houses. I know we have the Clean Green event, but not everyone is able to easily transport large branches with the vehicles that we have. And I felt like that was a really good way to help individuals clean things and keep our yards clean of debris. Also in the past, we back up to a green space and we did get pretty regular maintenance crews. We would see them out there and we haven't seen anybody there in a while. And so I guess I was kind of wondering what is going to be done this year in terms of handling our collective green spaces and also just helping support individual community members keep our areas clean. And also one other thing with regard to the fire safety is that I did really appreciate we had a text alert system a couple years ago that actually worked really well. We received a notification. I recall there was a fire at AM/PM Beach and it was very effective in getting that message out. And I was just wondering if we could get something like that started up again, because I do think fires, I mean, this year's been wet and cold, so obviously it's hard to think about, when it's 45 degrees and hailing, but, it is a concern, I think, for us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Chelsea. No responses to that from any.
We still have the text. No,
we're not doing the text alerts. It costs too much money. You can subscribe. You can set your phone up to receive notifications. Anytime we put anything on our website, it pushes to the Facebook page. So you can set your Facebook app up to notify you anytime our Facebook app updates, and you'll receive those notifications. We aren't utilizing the text alerts because they're costly to be sending them out all the time. But we do update. We update actually more than the city of Bellingham updates or Whatcom County updates. So we're pretty timely in that sense. We are an HOA. This is a neighborhood association. We're not the on the hour news channel. So, it is what it is. If you need on the hour or immediate weather information, there's other ways to get that, as opposed to us, getting multiple full-time staff members to take care of that. There's other needs where we need to put that money for the association. So sorry, Josh, I just thought I'd clarify that we're not using.
No, I mean, well,
system.
I think people need to understand how the text system works. I mean, obviously, if there's a fire, that option is there. If there's not a fire, obviously no texts are going to be sent out. And then, John has the ability to, any of us can update that with the, communication, but it's what is it, John, like per basis, right? Charge. So it's not like it's something that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's a per message charge. So yeah.
So if there's something that's really bad, we can obviously let those fly.
Plus the county has an emergency alert system as well. So you can sign up for those if you're interested in that. And you'll receive those on your phone as well. So, and just so you guys know, because we've talked about this before, fire department will make sure that you're alerted if there is a fire. You do not have to worry about that. They will come door to door if they have to. They have loudspeakers on their vehicles and on their trucks. They'll run their sirens. They'll make sure people are evacuated. So I have been in my home in a fire in the middle of the night. They come and knock door to door to make sure everyone's aware of it.
All right. I think that's all the board response there. Appreciate that, Chelsea. I'm going to go ahead and move you back to the attendees at this point.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Chelsea.
All right. Anybody else for property owners' comments? And that might be everything for now. There is another round of this at the end of the meeting.
All right, we will move forward then. Do we have a motion to move into closed session?
Motion to move into closed session.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, see you over there.
Being recorded.
Josh, while we're waiting, would you mind playing a drum for us?
No, I'm terrible at it.
A little bit of musical entertainment, like, waiting music.
The guy I jam with plays 300 beats per minute or something ridiculous like that. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Right. So my dreams of doing it's thrown out the window when I jam with him.
You could just get a drum machine and pretend.
Yeah.
The Milli Vanilli of drum playing.
I remember seeing this thing of some young girl, like 11 years old, Nandy something, I think, playing with Dave Grohl. It was pretty awesome.
I saw that. That's cool.
Yeah. Or there's Dave Grohl playing with, was it Grover on Sesame Street?
Grover.
Or yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. That's going way back.
All right, is everyone back?
Let's see.
I'm tired at this point.
Can't believe we still have to go through those financials too.
No financials.
No, not this round.
I know,
No.
I'm just joshing.
Well,
All right. Do we have a motion to move back into open session?
Motion to move back into open session.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, so moving to the Marina dock. We had a discussion in closed session about some legal issues, and we have given direction to our staff on how to proceed with that. And we're moving forward on remedying the Marina lawn trap dock situation, and we should have more information shortly for the community. And then for the parks, we also had a discussion with staff on the playgrounds and some ADA related issues, and we've given some direction to staff on those, and we will also have more information for the community shortly related to those. All right, and then 7C, we had the bylaws. And I'm gonna pass this to somebody else because I'm
Nancy?
So,
We move those.
well, so here, I can jump in there real quick. So one is just that we're just, this board is just approving the written version where all of the bylaw amendments that the community members voted to approve and that took effect at the 2021 AGM. So this is just a written version, and that we just approve the additions to those amendments that were voted on by the members. And so you have a redlined version that was sent over to you earlier. And then what we can do is we can post that up for a certain period of time, just so the community can see that that's the change. And then it goes permanent, and we'll all, the 2022 board, all of us will sign it. That's the new version of the bylaws. So is there a motion to approve the
Sonia, can you reference that? It's Article 2, Section 2 and paragraph 1. Can that be referenced for people that are?
Well, there's multiple sections. There's three provisions in there that were changed during I don't have it in front
that's
of
all
me.
referenced in our AGM, I think.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I can't
Okay,
reference it because I don't have it.
Okay, just wanted people to have something to go to, but they can
just-
go to the AG.
We can just use the AGM booklet that explained each of the ones that's passed and just Xerox the page out of it, scan the page out of it and add that with it.
What's a Xerox? No, I'm just kidding.
If we need to, I mean, I have it on my computer. I could share screen if you want. So it's up to you guys. What do you think?
I think actually it wouldn't hurt because there's two parts to what we're going to discuss. One is just all we're doing is just moving forward with the already approved amendments that the community voted on. That's all. And so that's really, we're just basically ratifying what was already done by the community. That being said, and that's probably not the right word for it. That's why I keep hesitating. Ratify is probably not the right word, but but that being said, there's a second part there, if Brian, if you want to pull it up where it pulls to the, that red box.
Let me actually
this-
download it because some of this stuff is in, I mean, it's your email and stuff. So let me stop sharing and download it really quickly.
Oh, okay. Well, so I'll just tell you.
Sorry, guys.
The red box, what that does is it was a provision where our attorney had, when Wakaiowa came into effect, our bylaws actually conflict with that law, 6490. And so the attorney suggested, since it can be confusing for some members, to put a footnote or a reference into in some area in order to show why our bylaws actually say something different than what is actually in 6490, which is what we would refer to. So, okay, it looks like we're starting back.
Do you want me to go change by change? I can just keep
No, it's
scrolling
fine.
down
Go
until I
ahead
see a
and do
red line.
that.
Does that make
It's
sense?
fine.
So,
So,
okay.
so these are just the changes that the community voted on, and they're just redlined and underscored.
Blow it up a little bit for everybody so that we can see it. How's that?
Yep. So that passed. And what this
Yo.
was, this is a amendment, and what this does is it just says that it was previously written in a way that it said that if a petition was put forward by 10% of the membership, the president was obligated to hold an SGM. The thing is that what this does is that if those petitions actually are illegal, like if the law prevents them from taking effect, the president can just stop it right there. He's not obligated, or she's not obligated, to call an SGM if the matter submitted to the member for a vote would violate applicable law. And this was to counter.
Do we have to? I don't think we need to go through each change.
No. Okay.
I mean, that's, if people want to understand that, they can go back to the AG.
Yeah, there's only 3 of them, and we can post these red line items online. But yeah, they were already approved. We're not actually touching them. We're just updating the. This is a bylaw update. We're just updating these additions. I mean, we're just accepting these additions. There it was. I knew there was a word I was looking for. We're accepting those.
Yay.
So do we have a motion to accept the members' vote? These are changes as voted on by the members at the 2021 AGM.
You can make the motion, Sonia.
I did. I can't remember
Second.
it after I said it. Somebody better just say yes to it, I think.
Second.
All those in favor?
I mean, you have to say I motion.
Oh
move.
my God. Seriously? I
We're good.
motion.
Close enough.
All right. Nancy, what are you doing over here?
You move. You don't motion.
That's what I said.
I move to everybody.
I always say I make a motion to blah 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 blah, but
Right, that's good too.
so I think the bigger discussion is the red box thing.
Yeah.
And so basically legal counsel advised that it should be a footnote if
But it
it's
was
going to be
inserted
if it's going to
inside.
be in the bylaws document. It should be a footnote, not inserted into the body of the bylaws themselves.
Right, and what we risk by leaving it in there like that is very quickly, probably within another year, there's not enough people that remember why that came about, and people will start to believe that that's actually part of the bylaws. It's actually inside the bylaw, so it appears as if that's something the membership did vote on, and that it's part of the written bylaws. So we just want to remove that out from inside the bylaw. Nancy has her own suggestion as to what should happen with that, if you want to tell everybody.
I think we're obliged just to inform the members what that really changed, because all we've done here is we said, go read these RCWs. which are not readily understandable. If you go read those two things, you still won't know what they say. So I think we should at least put a short explanation and something like under those two RCWs are annual dues assessments and special assessment payments are combined into a budget, and that budget is placed on the ballot by the board of directors. If the budget is not rejected by owners holding a majority of all the votes in the association, the budget is ratified. Just, I'm sure there's other ways to explain this, but I think we are really obliged to tell people what this law did, and just instead of just saying, well, there's this law.
Can we, so a suggestion, maybe we vote to remove the red box, and maybe Nancy will bring something for us at the next meeting with, or maybe the document review committee. I don't know. Like,
Actually,
I don't know if
I
we
think
need to put it all on the document review committee to do. Like, it's probably not that complicated, you know? So like maybe one person could take lead on, you know, writing a footnote on how best to readdress that red box in an actual footnote based on legal counsel's advice. Is that?
Well, I can do that, or it can go to doc review, or I'll send it around to people who want to.
I mean, I'm comfortable if you want to just draft something up and send it to the board for us to review, and
Okay.
if people have any edits, we can send those in before the meeting, and then we can put that new language, you know, in the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. I'll write something up and send it around.
Mostly
It'll
just
be
because I heard none of what you actually just said to me, because all I want to do is go lay down and go to bed. And I think it'd be good for us to read it so we see it, you know.
Okay.
And we all agree that, yeah, you know, maybe we even have Richard review that language that we do use as an explanation. Okay, so I'll make a motion that the board approve the removal of the language in the red box inserted into the bylaws, and that at the next meeting, Nancy will provide a new copy to review with language and explanation addressed as a footnote of the bylaws.
Hey, excuse me if I'm wrong, and I know it's late, we're all tired, but isn't there a motion on the table?
Did we not vote on that?
No, we voted on the first one to just accept those changes.
Okay, well, all right.
I think we did.
I guess I'm the one that's lost here.
We voted on it.
Want to vote on another one, Josh?
What's that?
Do you want to vote on another one too?
No.
Is there a
Probably
second?
already getting tomatoes thrown at the TV on the watch party.
I second AJ's motion.
Just for clarification, you guys said approve the written version from the 2021 AGM. You motioned and seconded and it passed.
Woohoo. And look, we're all so tired, we don't even remember doing it. So what is that?
I remember doing it. I called the question. We all raised our hand.
There's a reason Rich is part of the team now.
All right, I'm going back 30 minutes here.
All right, does anyone have any further discussion on the second motion here with removing the red blank box language and having Nancy provide a new version for the next meeting?
No.
All right, we'll call the question. All those in favor? All right, that passes. And the last thing we added, and this was sorry for kind of the last minute with this, but Tyler's bids closed yesterday afternoon, and he got this stuff to us today. But basically, and we can package this up and put it as an addendum to the agenda so the community can see the bids. But basically, the board has previously already approved the funds for the golf course bridge at hole 8. And that allowed Tyler to then go get bids. Now we are basically approving the award of a contract to the lowest bidder, so that a contract can be executed to do the work. Based on the original amount of funding that was proposed and approved by the board, the construction lowest bid falls within that money. So there's really not any discussion necessarily that needs to be had around it. We're basically just approving the authority to execute a contract at this point. So I gotta bring that up quick because I don't remember the company's name. Does anybody have any questions surrounding that? So basically, by us approving the funds, we created the intention that we were going to move forward with the project. The bids came back, they fell within that funding limit. And now we're basically approving the authority for staff to go execute a contract. And if the bids came back and they were like way more or something like that than what we approved, then we would maybe have to have a discussion whether we're going to accept those bids, kill the project, add more funds, rebid it, whatever. Yeah.
So is there a motion?
I think so P&P Excavating was the low bid. Strider was the second lowest bid. And there was nine contractors that were requested to bid. There was a number of people that responded and said they were not capable of doing the work in the timeframes that we've had established, or were just not responsive. Basically, I think I move that the board of directors approve the award of a contract to the lowest bidder, P&P Excavating, to complete the construction related to the hole 8 golf course bridge.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? All right, that passes. All right, that is the end of our new business. We'll move into property owner comments and call it a night.
Yep, still got 8 people with us here tonight. So if anybody would like to chime in for this round of property owners comments, just use raise hand in Zoom. And Linda's got her hand raised. I'll go ahead and bring Jan over here. Linda, go ahead and unmute when you're ready.
OMG, I'm glad I waited. The first thing I'd like to talk about is this bylaws business. When you all certified the election in December, that's basically when the bylaws should have gone into effect, because it says in the bylaws that any amendment becomes effective immediately upon their adoption, which was adopted by the membership.
They did go into effect. They just weren't, these written bylaws.
You don't wait 5 months to post them and publish them.
That's right. That's why we're doing it now, because our staff never put the amended the bylaws on there.
It
That's
takes
why we're
direction
doing it.
usually from the board secretary to direct staff to make the adjustments. I'm all done with that.
The board secretary doesn't have the authority to direct staff, so.
Well, I'm saying that's how it's always gotten done in the past.
Well, I think we
Rather than
can
waiting.
all
rather than
relate to the
waiting
past
5
isn't
months,
the way we
folks.
want to be doing things in the future.
Well, let's see. Let's go into the future here and all the stuff that you're doing. So you guys did a consent agenda. And in that consent agenda were items for 11 minutes from 11/6/21. I'm assuming, I don't know what those are for because there's not a copy of those in that amendment, in those amendment documents. And also 224, whatever that is, that also is not in that amendment. Plus there are a whole bunch of minutes from 310, 328, 329, and 330 in there that are not included in being approved in the consent agenda by all you board members.
We don't approve the AGM minutes. That's something that we discussed. They'll be posted, but they aren't approved until the next AGM.
No, but I also sent the state law to you about what they say when you should have them. So this 11/6 minutes are the ones that are the AGM because they weren't included in that amendment packet.
Because the board doesn't, this was the packet that for the board approval, and the board does not approve the AGM minutes.
But they were in the consent agenda.
The 11/6?
Yes, ma'am.
That
Yeah.
the organizational meeting, not the AGM meeting.
The organizational meeting was
Right.
approved by you guys on 12/29/21.
Well, that's.
Whoops.
There's no whoops. Talk to the GM and talk to the ops manager.
You're saying it's the organizational meeting, and I'm saying those minutes were included in a consent agenda in the 29th of December of 2021 meeting.
So Linda, let me interrupt here. So Linda, what do you recommend we do to make this right? Because you seem to have a lot of experience in this area with your having been on the board in the past. How do we make this right, Linda?
Well, number one, I'll ask a question of all of you.
No, Linda.
No, it's important.
I asked you a question to how to make it right, because we want to do the right thing. And since you have all the information, please tell us what you think we should do.
You have to answer some questions for me in order to tell you that. I'm sorry.
Linda, you got 1 more minute of time.
Oh, I do, huh?
Yeah.
Well, somebody should have taken a few minutes to put this together. I'm saying if you go look at your amendment, you have minutes in there that are not included on this consent agenda. And it looks like you guys have approved them. And I don't know, without asking all of you that are there, have you all looked at the 310, 328, 329, and 330 minutes that are included in that amendment?
Yes, we did look at them.
Then they should have been added to this consent agenda, because otherwise you really have no trail that you all looked at them and that these were what were submitted to you.
Okay, thank you. We'll let staff know the next time they do the agenda to do it differently.
You know, because people are going to ask, well, because normally that's why you put individual items on the consent agenda. You know, and you may want to go back, Sonia, and look, because I'm telling you, 11/6/21, if you think those minutes are the organizational minutes, those were already done way back then. It's just you guys haven't posted for almost a year. You're that far behind in minutes.
It hasn't been almost a year.
Bit of a stretch, but okay.
Yeah.
Linda, we appreciate
All right, Linda.
you staying on top of
Thank you.
on top of this. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
Bite me.
Thanks, Linda. Have a good night.
If there's no other comments, I'd like to make a comment.
I would also like to make a comment if I could.
You go ahead, Dan.
Okay, so I just want to say to anybody watching that we have had some challenges on the staff side in getting these all done and done correctly. And so I think at this point we have caught up and we've got a process in place, and we've worked with staff to have templates and to establish a pattern to how we get these done going forward. So I want to make it clear that this is not because of any dereliction on the part of this board that these have been hanging out there. So I just want to make it clear to everyone, because I feel like you guys are getting attacked for things that are not your responsibility. Frankly, they're mine and they're the staff's. And so I think we've got it under control now, but it has been a little bit challenging, as all of you know. And I appreciate your tolerance for it taking us this long. I'm sorry that it has. And I apologize that you're suffering the repercussions of stuff that's not your responsibility.
Thank you, Dan.
Well, Dan,
Thanks, Dan.
We're a team, man. I'd like to see Miss Bradley call in not so anxious, and we can actually get some stuff done where people are happy. But I actually want to make a comment. I wanted to apologize to Chelsea Saunders, who called in earlier. She's not, doesn't look like she's watching now, but she asked about Firewise. Sorry, I've had like a heck of a week, but I didn't get to mention that. But I think staff needs to look into doing that again. Dan, Rich, if you guys can look into that, I think that would be awesome. I know we just had some people go through and clean up the branches and a lot of the culverts and such, but I do agree that it stinks for the people who don't have the vehicles to get their stuff down the clean green. So if there's anything we can do to make that happen soon, that would be awesome. So please and thank you. You got that, Dan, Rich? You guys with me?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got that. So I think, it's something we'll look at until we actually get a few staff hired for the maintenance department. I don't think there's a lot we can do in that regard unless we wanted to hire somebody outside, which I think would be probably not cost effective. We are doing, we're doing another clean green. And I think, we'll look and see if there's some way we can coordinate that with what else. But the other thing I would say to anybody listening is, most folks have their own yard waste containers. So as long as you cut things up small enough, you can put a lot of stuff in there. Work with your neighbors. This is also, working as a community. Sometimes we can get things done that we otherwise can't do right now. But I'll certainly keep that in mind. And as we get staffing ramped up, we'll look and see if there's some opportunities to do a clean or a Firewise run or two.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else care to jump in here for property owners' comments? You can just use raise hand in Zoom and I'll bring you over. I've got Rob with his hand raised. Rob, I've gone ahead and brought you over. Unmute when you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. AJ, you had mentioned coming out of the closed session that more information about the launch ramp dock would be forthcoming. Can you give us a better idea of when that information would be coming, and how do you plan to convey or communicate that?
Well, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and any information regarding that would be likely posted through staff on the website on what is happening, and then I'm sure at some board meeting we may make an announcement or something to go along with that.
Okay, thanks, AJ.
But at this point, there is a fair amount of stuff that has to be dealt with. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
I will say I would not expect to have that dock in place for a large portion of the summer.
Yeah, I think most of the tenants are expecting that. It's just I wasn't sure whether that we were looking at information coming within the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, or whatnot. And then Dan, a quick question for you. Some of the tenants are wondering who is it that they should contact for their renewals? Is that are they still taking? There was a reservation system process in place. Is that still the process?
So actually, the way you can find out what's going on with that is to call the rec center where they're managing that process. And so I don't know exactly what the process is right now, but I do know that they've been taking reservations and they're getting everything ready and getting things pretty much lined up for April 15th, which is just a couple days away. So.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, AJ.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Thanks, Rob.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay. Anybody else?
Saying no. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.